Much needed rainfall over the weekend helped crews gain control of the wildfires in Southern California. But the rain could also create new disasters, such as flash flooding, mudslides, and toxic ash runoff. Officials say that more evacuations might be necessary as they deal with these new threats. Meanwhile, schools in the Los Angeles area are working to reopen weeks after the most intense days of the wildfires. The Associated Press spoke with parents who are concerned about whether schools have done enough to clean up the toxic ash from burned homes and cars. The LA Unified School District told the AP it has an environmental consultant inspecting campuses, which includes checking ventilation systems, replacing filters, and installing air purifiers in classrooms and offices. The fires are blamed for at least 28 deaths across the Los Angeles area since January 7th, including Randy Mead of Malibu. The man, better known as Crawdaddy, was considered a local celebrity in the surfing scene there, that famed scene. He was speaking to his mother on the phone, readying a defense of his house on the Pacific Coast Highway as the flames were bearing down on him. His last words to her were, "Pray for the Palisades and pray for Malibu. I love you." Let's now bring in Chris Cornellis, who writes obituaries for the Wall Street Journal. He authored Randy Mead's obit for the paper. And Chris, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, the sheer scope of this devastation in Los Angeles, it's easy to be overwhelmed by the numbers and sometimes lose track of those individual stories. Talk to us about this one, about Randy, and why he meant so much to that community.
Mr. Mead, Crawdaddy, he had an open door policy at his home. And his friends told me that over the last 20 years, thousands of people spent the night at his house, stopped in for a shower, a drink, a meal, just to get some shade. And he was part of this community. You know, when we think about Malibu, we often think about this as being an enclave of the rich and famous, and really it is. But there's also this community of people who are willing to live in an RV, a van, share a room, a guest home, anything, whatever it takes to be close to this famous beach, Surfrider Beach. And Crawdaddy, Mr. Mead, he was a member of this community, and he was somebody who helped each other out. They were part of this group that just made it work, and everybody was helping each other out, and he was a big part of that.
Chris, this was a beautiful story, beautiful obituary, and connected with me because it reminds me of quite a few people that I knew in Pensacola that lived their entire lives on the beach or close to the beach. Amazing thing is, you talk about that community. Like, he could have sold his property, right? He could have made money, but again, this was his life, and the fact that people would go surfing, come to his place, just kind of move in and out. It was like that scene, that life, more valuable to him than any amount of money that some property developer could have given him. Talk about that.
He had the life that he wanted to lead. And this was something that I think really resonated with people, that it was very clear to him the life that he wanted since he was a teenager, since he was in junior high, since he was skipping school to take the bus to Malibu to surf. And that's what he wanted to do with his life. That was the community he wanted to be a part of. So yeah, after he bought the house 20 years ago, the value skyrocketed. He could have sold it quickly, easily, and walked away a millionaire. His mother tried to get him to do that, but it did not interest him because he had the life that he wanted to live. And I think this is something that I found so fascinating about him, was he didn't just have the life that he wanted to live and was content with the life he wanted to live and was willing to just defend the life that he had. He recognized that he was living this life. And it didn't matter if the house was worth $1 million, $2 million, because what was that going to get him? That wasn't going to get him any closer to the life he wanted. He already had the life that he wanted, and he had the presence of mind to really appreciate that.
Obituaries reporter for the Wall Street Journal, Chris Cornellis. Thank you so much for joining us with more on that.